Hello, and I'm excited because we are here with another episode of the Terrell Show, and I'm excited because this is just a little bit different format than what I typically do. Sort of sometimes I sit down when I'm doing different things, or sort of, not really been standing up. A few I've done, but today I wanted to do this one standing up because I want to be able to get in your face if I need to. All right. And today is very important, so I want you to be able to get the whole visual of everything. So specifically what we're talking about today, how to practice like a professional. We all know that any kind of craft or anything that you want to do or get better at, I don't care if you're taking care of your kids, to you being the #1 athlete, to you want to be an entrepreneur, great at whatever you do. You have to be able to practice in order to get better. If you're creating a product, if you're trying to build a skill. Now, but how to specifically you do that? How do you get better at that, right? So, what I got today, this is particularly if you want to be better at any kind of skill that you're doing. These are 3 solid ways that's going to help you get there much faster, because we all know how it goes. We all have a place we want to get to. Like, all right, well, I want to be a great speaker, or I want to be, great at writing books, so maybe I want to be great at, this particular sport. But there's a certain way that you got to practice. Or I want to be a great actor or actress. But you have to practice in certain ways in order to make progress and get better. We all know to be great, you got to have certain skills, because all the best are great at the skills that they need to be great at in order to succeed. So today I'm going to show you exactly what 3 of the top things you need to be doing when it comes to practicing. All right, so I'm excited about today. I hope you are too. So, how to practice like a pro. So, #1, how to practice like a pro. This is by far the #1 biggest thing that you need to do when it comes to practicing. Because a lot of people just practice, but they don't have. They just go out there and just start doing things and say, all right, I'm going to practice playing ball, I'm going to practice speaking, I'm going to practice dancing, or whatever the case is. But this is how you actually want to practice. Is the first thing that you want to do. So what is it? First thing you want to do is you want to make sure that when you practice you have specific goals. It's important to have specific goals when you're practicing, because you get out on that court, and if you just get out there and just say, oh, I'm just gonna shoot around, or I'm just gonna get out there and I'm just gonna practice my free throws, which is good, but what are your specific goals? How are you gonna know where you need to get to if you don't have anything specific that you're working towards? How are you even gonna get better if you don't have anything you're working towards? Anybody can just get out there and just start, right? So like for me, speaking is one of, and I'm always going to be getting better at speaking, right? But speaking for me is a goal that I want to make sure that I'm getting better at. So if you're looking to become a speaker, what are your specific goals to becoming a speaker? 1, it might be eliminating filler words. It might be you being able to convince or persuade the crowd to maybe make an action. It might be, it could be a myriad of things, right? But whatever it is, have something specific. So don't just say, all right, I'm going to get on the court and my goal is just to shoot free throws. Get on the court and say, well, my goal, I want to make 100 free throws straight. My goal is to shoot 500 free throws, and I want to make sure that I make at least 70% of those, right? So, or I have to start from the beginning. But it's very important to have those specific goals, okay? So that's #1. #2, after you have your specific goals and you know exactly what you want the goal is to accomplish, next and most important thing is you have to, oh, and by the way, don't laugh, this is supposed to be a trophy, right? So you win in the middle. I'm not here for art class, right? But I think it'll be a little interesting. All right, so back to this. #2, what is it? What's the second thing you need to have after you have the specific goals? You have to make sure that they are, and hopefully you can see this. And this is swaying a little bit. But next, you want to make sure that your goals are measured. So you have a goal, what you want to get to, but you got to be able to measure it, right? So what's the point of having a goal if you don't know where you're at? So one, you got to sort of have an idea of, all right, how am I doing along the way towards that goal as I'm practicing? So if I'm practicing shooting free throws, right, I gotta say, okay, well, I know my goal is to, to make 100, but the next thing I know is that if it's not measured, it's gonna actually hurt you, because you'll just keep shooting, and you'll probably shoot the 100 free throws, but how do you know what your percentage is if you're not keeping track of the amount that you're making, you're not keeping track of the amount that you're missing? If you're saying that you want to make 70% of the free throws, then you have to be counting them and measuring. As a speaker, if you're talking, projecting, you saying, all right, well, I want to make sure that I'm eliminating my fillers, or I want to make sure that I'm hitting, a specific objective while I'm speaking. Well, then you have to be calculating how much times am I saying ooh my eye, or do I have somebody that's helping me measure that? So you got to be able to know where you're at to know where you're getting better at. So you might say, okay, well, my goal was to make 70 free throws out of the 100. I only made 50. Okay, that's where your goal, where you're at right now is 50%. So you have to get up to 70%, but you will never know that if you're not measuring it. Okay, so that's the second thing that's second most important. All right, then number 3. You can set all the specific goals that you want. You can make sure that they measured, but if you're not doing this, you don't really know where you stand at with other people. So you have to make sure that you make your goal social. That means don't just be in your backyard shooting. Don't just be in your room talking. Go out and get around other people. Go out around and get around other people who's gonna be able to provide you that feedback. Go around and get around other speakers who are speaking. So one of the things for me that that I'm currently doing, but I'm always gonna be doing this. But even as I first started speaking, I'm getting out and I'm going around and speaking around the people. So I'm going to the Toastmasters. I'm going to speaking out at schools, and not only am I doing that, I'm being able to gauge to see where I'm at in regards to other speakers that's speaking, right? See where I stand at, see what the crowd interacts with, see maybe something else that I can add maybe to my practice regimen or to my goals. But then also being able to get that feedback and say, hey, what can I get better on? What can I do better with? So it's important that you're not just practicing by yourself, that you also making the goal social. Okay? So if you do these 3 things, you're going to find yourself practicing a lot better. Because if you've been doing something for a long time and you feel like you're not getting better at the rate that you should be getting better at, or you feel like you've been stagnant or hit a plateau for a long time, I can almost guarantee it's one of these 3 things that you're not doing enough. Either not doing it at all, or you're not doing it enough. All right. So 1, make sure that your goals are specific. Don't just say I'm just going out to practice or swim or speak. What are your specific goals when you practice? 2, you have to measure it to see where you're at and see what's the difference, what's that delta, what I got to do in order to get to where I want to be, right? And then make it social. Don't just be in your room or by yourself. You also have to make sure that you get around other people that's going to help you push yourself forward. All right. So hope you like this today. This is how you practice like a pro. Thanks again for being a part of the Terrell Show. I'm excited. Again, if you like this, or if you like anything that we did today, of course, give me some likes, give me some comments. You got some questions. Maybe there's a few other things that you do that helps you practice better. So if that's true, put it down below, and let's continue to make this a community. Let's continue to learn from each other and make today great, right? So until next time, continue to make each and every day more productive.